You ever look at a moment, just a regular old Tuesday morning, nothing special, and realize that was the exact second your whole life started to slide off the rails? Yeah, for me it was about 3 months ago. I was standing in our driveway, trying to wrestle a flat tire off Kayla's Subaru while she sipped her oat milk latte like she was waiting on valet. That's when I noticed it. Not the tire. Not her attitude. The shoes. Kayla had on these ridiculous, overpriced heels she used to make fun of. I'd never spend $200 to have my toes crushed, she'd say. Yet there she was, wiggling her foot around like she was modeling for a Nordstrom catalog. And I just stood there, lug wrench in hand, watching the light bounce off her polished toenails, thinking, that's new. Now, I ain't one of those guys who freaks out when their wife buys a new pair of shoes. But I'm the kind of guy who notices when his wife of 11 years, who hasn't worn makeup to a barbecue in 4 years, starts contouring her cheekbones just to go to Target. It wasn't just the shoes. It was a slow trickle of little things. The way her voice changed when certain names came up in conversation. The laughter she'd save for her phone. How she started wearing perfume again, but not when we went out together. It all started after she got that new job at the real estate office. Part-time admin work, she said. Flexible hours, local listings, nothing crazy. First few weeks, I was happy for her. She'd been a stay-at-home mom since our daughter Ellie was born. Ellie's 9 now, and Kayla said she wanted to feel useful again. That stung a little, if I'm being honest. I always thought raising a kid and managing a household was more useful than selling split levels in subdivisions with names like Maple Run Estates. But I didn't say that. I nodded like a supportive husband and went back to repairing fences and fixing lawnmowers on the weekends. We live in a modest ranch style in Mount Vernon, Ohio. Good schools, steady neighbors, enough cornfields to remind you you're in the Midwest. I'm a mechanic. Not flashy, but I'm damn good at what I do. I run my own shop, B&D Auto. That's short for Bobby and Dad, although Dad passed 4 years ago. It's mostly me and a kid named Riley now, who thinks a carburetor is some kind of smoothie. Anyway, the shop's been good to us. Paid for our house, our truck, our daughter's braces, and the one cursed Disney trip where we all got food poisoning in Orlando. Point is, we were doing fine. Not flashy, not perfect, but fine. And then Kayla changed. I didn't catch on right away. I chalked up the mood swings to her adjusting to being back in the workforce. I figured the new friends she was texting at night were just other moms trying to claw their way out of suburbia with scented candles and dream boards. I even ignored the lipstick I found in the back seat of her car. It wasn't the shade she wears. But maybe she was experimenting. Maybe she got it free from one of those online beauty boxes. Maybe. That's the kind of idiot optimism that comes from loving someone too long. I'll say this, Kayla was never mean. She didn't belittle me. She didn't yell. If anything, she was too polite. That was the clue I should have paid attention to. You know that fake smile people give when they're trying to hide something? The kind you see in job interviews or at funerals? That's the smile I started getting. I'd ask how her day went, and she'd say, "Good, thanks," without looking up from her phone. I'd ask what she wanted for dinner, and she'd say, "Whatever's easiest." Like I wasn't trying to spend time with her, just checking off a task. Our conversations got shorter. Her showers got longer. And intimacy? Forget it. Last time we were intimate was during a cold snap in February, and even then it felt like I was trying to warm a stranger's body, not my wife's. Still, I didn't press. Because here's the thing, I'm not a paranoid guy. I'm the opposite. I'm the maybe she's just tired guy. The let's give it time guy. The she'll come around guy. Until one afternoon, Ellie came home from school and said something that knocked the wind out of me. We were sitting at the kitchen table, me, sipping sweet tea, her coloring in a unicorn with glitter markers. Kayla was still at work, supposedly, though she'd been working late, more and more lately. Ellie looked up, all innocent and casual, and said, "Daddy, who's Uncle Brent?" I blinked. "Uncle who?" "Uncle Brent," she repeated, like I was hard of hearing. Mommy said she saw him again today, and he made her laugh, so hard she snorted. My hand clenched around the mason jar. I tried to smile. Did Mommy say where she saw him? Ellie shrugged. Nope, but she said he smells like adventure. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been around long enough to know that no man who smells like adventure is just a casual acquaintance. Still, I didn't explode. I didn't run to her office or call her phone or stage a big soap opera scene in our living room. I did something worse. I waited. Because if there's one thing I've learned from working under hoods all day, it's that the real problem ain't always what's making the noise. Sometimes, you gotta sit with the engine. Let it idle. Listen. So I started watching. She said she was working late. I checked her car mileage when she got home. She said she had a girls' night. I peeked in the laundry to see if the outfit she wore was one of her new ones. The ones she said she bought on clearance, but that sure didn't have tags from Walmart. She said her phone died. I watched how fast she unlocked it when Ellie asked to borrow it. There wasn't one big thing, just 1,000 small ones. And that's when I knew. Kayla was cheating. I just didn't know how yet. Or with who. I didn't want to jump to conclusions and be wrong. I've seen guys ruin their whole marriage because they thought they saw something that wasn't there. I wasn't going to be that guy. So I made a plan. This wasn't going to be a snooping through her purse, creeping through parking lots, begging for truth kind of thing. If she was lying, I'd let her dig her own grave. No accusations. No drama. Just quiet observation. Because when someone thinks you don't suspect a thing, that's when they get careless. And Kayla was about to get very, very careless. She just didn't know I'd already stopped being her husband in my heart. Now I was a detective. And the case? Kayla Page Foster. Age 37. Occupation, real estate assistant. Marital status, about to find out how smart her husband really is. This wasn't just about betrayal. This was about truth. And I was going to find it, one silent step at a time. The thing about catching someone in a lie is, you don't have to shout to expose it. You just have to pay attention to what they assume you're too dumb to notice. After Ellie dropped that Uncle Brent bombshell, I started watching Kayla like I was waiting on a loose wire to spark. I didn't ask her about Brent. I didn't even flinch when she came home late that night and kissed me on the cheek like a politician working a crowd. I smiled. I asked how her day went. She said, exhausting, and poured herself a glass of red wine she used to call migraine juice. She took it upstairs, turned on the bath, and that was that. No guilt. No tells. Just business as usual. I'll admit, I didn't sleep great that week. I'd never been the jealous type. But I also never thought I'd be the kind of guy who knew his wife was lying straight to his face and just let it happen. I didn't confront her. That would have been too easy for her to dance around. I needed something undeniable. Something clever. Something solid. Then came the breakthrough. And like most truths in life, it showed up in the most ordinary place. A community bulletin board. See, every second Thursday of the month, our town holds this little open house mixer thing for real estate professionals. It's a low-key deal. Agents, mortgage folks, title office people, all hobnobbing in some overpriced kitchen pretending they're excited about a 4-2 with a cracked foundation. Kayla never missed them. Said they were mandatory networking. Said they had sign-in sheets. And if she didn't go, her broker would take notice. That Thursday, she wore one of her new blouses. The one with the tiny gold buttons I once joked looked like something off a Hallmark movie set. She curled her hair, wore lipstick, and even spritzed something on her neck she claimed was just dry shampoo. Right. She left at 5:30 sharp with a reusable coffee cup and a fake yawn. I probably won't be home till 9, she said, kissing Ellie and barely brushing past me. Those mixers always go late. I nodded, smiled, and waved her off. Then I went to my truck, drove 2 miles down, and parked across the street from that month's event. Now before you think I was going full stalker mode, don't worry, I never went inside. I didn't have to. I just watched. She wasn't there. For 2 hours I sat in that parking lot. Watched agents walk in and out, making fake laughs and exchanging cards. Even saw a couple of them I knew. But Kayla? No sign. I waited until 8:40. Still nothing. I drove home slow, like I was hoping she'd call and say, "Hey babe, I'm leaving now." But my phone stayed silent. When I pulled into the driveway, her car wasn't back yet. At 9:07 it pulled in. She walked in through the garage like nothing was wrong, humming a tune, holding a bag with some brochures like she'd just come from a real estate seminar. How was it? I asked, sitting at the kitchen table with Ellie's school folder open in front of me, pretending to review her math homework. Boring, Kayla said, slipping off her heels. No one showed up. Just me and one of the new guys, Brent something. He's a little weird but nice. Anyway, I'm beat. I didn't say a word. Just nodded and went back to scribbling something in Ellie's math worksheet that probably set her back 3 grade levels. That was the first real lie she told out loud. Brent something. The name made my ears ring. She never mentioned his last name. Never slipped and called him a coworker. Just Brent something. So I got to work. And I don't mean I went digging through her phone or setting up cameras like some lunatic. That's the kind of stuff you see on trashy cable shows. No, I had a better idea. An old mechanic's trick. You ever pull apart an engine and find the problem wasn't the loudest part, but the one that wasn't making noise? Same logic applies here. On Saturday, Kayla had a listing appointment across town. She left the house at noon, all dolled up again. Heels, necklace, makeup, the works. Told me she was showing a home to an older couple from Dayton. I nodded, wished her luck, and watched her taillights disappear down the street. Then I grabbed her laptop. Now hear me out. This wasn't snooping. This was preventative research. Kayla wasn't dumb enough to leave browser history or emails with "I love you, Brent" on them. I knew that. I wasn't looking for texts or photos. I was looking for something most people overlook: calendars. Kayla syncs everything to her Google Calendar. Color-coded events, reminders, dentist appointments, even her eyebrow threading schedule. She's obsessive. What she forgot. Her calendar was still logged in. I opened it, and there it was. Every Thursday for the past 6 weeks, she had an entry called "Continuing Ed at Keller Office," blocked out from 6 to 9 p.m. Except, when I clicked on it, the location wasn't Keller Williams. It was a gym, a private fitness center 20 minutes away. Titan Form Training. Interesting choice for continuing education. Even better, each event had a little recurring note in the description: bring casual clothes. Bingo. I Googled Titan Form, found the trainer profiles. And guess who had a big, flashy headshot right on the front page? Brent Halvorsen, fitness coach, former college baseball player, certified in God knows how many body sculpting techniques, and married. That's right, Mr. Adventure himself had a wedding ring in his staff photo. I kept reading. Brent ran something called Body Revamp for Professionals, a 3 times a week boot camp with an invite-only enrollment. I clicked the schedule. Thursdays, 6 to 8:30 p.m. Only 10 members per cycle. Private. Discreet. Now, I didn't need a GPS tracker to put it all together. Kayla wasn't showing houses. She was sweating it out with Brent in some overpriced gym while I reheated meatloaf for our daughter. I could have stopped there. I had enough. But curiosity's a stubborn thing. So I did one more thing. I signed up. Well, I tried to. The boot camp was closed, invite only, of course. But I put in my info and got a generic reply saying a trainer will be in touch. Sure enough, Monday morning, I got a call. "Hi, this is Brent from Titan Form. Saw you applied for our revamp program." I recognized the voice immediately. Smooth. Confident. Like a guy who does pull-ups for fun. "Yeah," I said. "I'm Bobby. Just looking to get back in shape. My wife Kayla Foster's been raving about you." He paused. Then, a half-hearted chuckle. "Oh yeah," he said. "Kayla. Yeah, she's great. She told me about your Thursday sessions," I said. "Said they were the best part of her week." Another pause. "Well, we'll be opening a new cycle in a few weeks," he stammered. "But, yeah, I can get your name on the list." "Cool," I said, looking forward to seeing what makes it so special. He hung up faster than a telemarketer on a church line. And that's when I knew I had him. I didn't need pictures. I didn't need texts. I had a liar on tape, an appointment that didn't exist, and a man who went quiet the moment I said my wife's name. I closed the laptop and poured myself a glass of sweet tea. That was the moment the weight lifted. I wasn't confused anymore. I wasn't suspicious or paranoid or angry. I was calm, cold, focused. Now, it was about the setup. Because Kayla didn't know I knew. Brent didn't know I'd called. And I wasn't about to blow my cover by confronting either of them too soon. I had something better planned. She thought she was sneaky. She had no idea who she was married to. Next stop? The confrontation. And trust me, I wouldn't need to raise my voice. Just the truth and a little stage direction. The thing about people who lie for long enough, they start thinking they're smarter than the truth. That's the moment you wait for. When their confidence gets a little too smooth, their lies a little too polished. That's when they make a mistake. And Brent made his the moment he called me buddy over the phone and tried to hustle me into his private boot camp like I was just another out-of-shape dad chasing a six-pack dream. So I waited one more week. That's it. 1 week of nodding, smiling, pretending I didn't know a damn thing. 1 week of "How was work, babe? And can you believe this weather?" And sure, I'll pick up Ellie from gymnastics. You know, normal stuff. Mundane stuff. The kind of stuff that makes you look safe. The Thursday I picked changed everything. I told Kayla that morning I'd be working late. Claimed a customer brought in a transmission rebuild that couldn't wait. She nodded without blinking. Didn't even offer to bring me dinner, which used to be her thing when I worked late. Instead, she kissed me on the forehead like a nurse clocking out of a shift and said, "Don't overdo it." When she left at 5:45 for her networking mixer, I followed, but not in a truck, and not with a camera or some sneaky tracker. No, I played it smarter. A buddy of mine from high school, Todd, owns a lawn treatment business and drives this beat-up, unbranded white van with half the rear letters peeled off. Told him I needed a favor, and he owed me after I helped him tow his wife's Altima off a ditch last winter. He handed me the keys and said, "Try not to look like a creep." At 6:12 p.m., I parked across from Titan Form Training and waited. At 6:26, Brent pulled up. Silver Infiniti. License plate frame said, "Baseball is life." Figures. At 6:34, Kayla pulled in. Same blouse from 2 weeks ago. Same gold buttons. She wore sneakers this time. No lipstick, no jewelry. Just a ponytail and yoga pants and a gym bag she kept in her trunk. So that's what continuing ed looks like these days. I didn't take pictures. Didn't need to. I just needed one thing. At 6:52, they walked out of the building together. Not inside. Out. She was laughing. He had a duffel bag slung over one shoulder, phone in hand, keys dangling. And then, just a second before they parted, she touched his arm. Real soft. Familiar. The kind of touch you don't use unless you've had your hands on someone a lot. They didn't kiss. Didn't hug. But you didn't need to see fire to know there'd been smoke. They got in their separate cars, pulled out, and I waited 5 more minutes before starting mine. I wasn't following her anymore. I was planning. And Saturday gave me the perfect excuse. Ellie had a spring recital at her school. Big deal for her. She was doing a duet on the piano with some boy named Mason who had a bowl cut and stage fright. Kayla had been looking forward to it all week. "We'll go out for dinner after," she said. "Make it special." She had no idea how special it was about to get. I called Brent Friday night. Used *67. He picked up. "This is Brent," he said, distracted, probably pacing in a kitchen filled with protein powder and guilt. "Hey man," I said. "It's Bobby again. Kayla's husband." Silence. "Don't hang up," I added. "I got a business proposition for you." He didn't hang up. "Now listen," I said, calm and casual. "My daughter's having this recital tomorrow night. School auditorium. Starts at 5. I know Kayla invited you already." Silence again. "I also know you've been seeing my wife for the last couple of months. That your little fitness boot camp is more of a 2-person workout, if you catch my drift." He tried to deny it. I think you've got the wrong idea. I'm not here to argue, Brent." I cut in. "I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to make a request." Now I had him off balance. "I want you to come to the recital," I said. "But not like a secret. I want you to walk in. Sit next to Kayla. Smile. Laugh. Whatever it is you do." "Why would I do that?" he asked, voice tight. "Because I want to see what she does when the lie gets pulled out from under her. I want to see her try to explain to our 9-year-old why her Uncle Brent showed up holding her hand." "You're out of your mind," he said, half laughing now. "You want me to help you embarrass your wife." "I want the truth out. You're just the delivery guy. So what's it gonna be?" He hung up. I figured he wouldn't show. But what he didn't know was, I had a backup plan. 2 of them, actually. Saturday came. Recital day. Ellie was nervous, but excited. Her little dress wrinkled from too much spinning. Kayla curled her hair. Wore earrings. She was in a bright mood, happier than I'd seen her in weeks. That part hurt. We sat in the second row from the front. Auditorium packed with proud parents and kids eating mints out of coat pockets. At 5:09 p.m., the auditorium doors opened again. Brent walked in. Alone. Wearing a tight shirt and an awkward smile. Kayla didn't notice at first. Then she did. Her face froze. Her hand slid off my knee like she'd touched fire. Her jaw tightened. She didn't look at me. Didn't look at Ellie. Just straight ahead. He sat in the back. Didn't wave. Didn't smile. But he was there. The performance went off without a hitch. Ellie was flawless, and Mason only cried once. When it ended, the crowd applauded. Kids took their bows. Kayla leaned toward me. "Did you know he was coming?" "Who?" I asked. She didn't answer. We walked to the lobby for pictures. Brent stayed back. He didn't move. Just stared. I gave Ellie my phone and said, "Go get a juice from the vending machine, sweetie." Then I turned to Kayla. "You gonna introduce me to your gym buddy?" Her face paled. Bobby, no need, I said. I already introduced myself. She glanced toward Brent, then back to me. I can explain. That's going to be tough, I said. Given how long you've been lying. I mean, you need a PowerPoint at this point. Her voice dropped. Can we talk about this later? No, I said, sharp now. We talk now. You don't get to pretend this didn't happen. Not with him standing 20 feet away like a waiter waiting for the check. Her hands trembled. Please, let's just go home. That's the thing, I said, loud enough for her to flinch. There is no home after this. She blinked. For the first time, really blinked. Like she realized the wheels had come off, and she couldn't steer anymore. I looked over at Brent. You got anything to say, Brent? He shrugged, all smug. This wasn't my idea. No, I said. But you signed up for it. Voluntarily. Kayla's mouth opened like she had something rehearsed. But I didn't wait. I took Ellie by the hand, walked her to the car, buckled her in. She asked if Mommy was okay. I said, she'll catch up. I drove home alone. Kayla didn't come back that night. She sent a text around midnight. We need to talk. I didn't reply, because I already had everything I needed. She'd been exposed. And what came next wouldn't be a conversation. It would be a performance. One she wouldn't be able to walk away from without the whole audience watching. You ever notice how people think revenge is some big, dramatic explosion? Like it's gotta involve screaming in parking lots or slashing tires or making a scene in front of some poor waiter who just wants to refill your water. That's amateur hour. Real revenge? The kind that sticks in your throat for years? That's slow. It's surgical. It's the kind where the other person doesn't even realize what's happening until the damage is already done. I didn't throw Kayla out that night. I didn't pack her bags. Didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't even pour myself a stiff drink and stare moodily into the middle distance like some brooding country song. Nope. I smiled. Because now that the performance was over, the fake marriage, the fake mixers, the sweaty gym lies, I was finally free to write the real ending. Let me tell you what I did. Sunday morning, I got up before the sun. Kayla was still gone. Likely too embarrassed to walk through the front door after being caught like a deer in yoga pants in front of the school PDA. Ellie was asleep in her room, dreaming about recitals and juice boxes and a world that hadn't cracked yet. I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, pulled out a legal pad and got to work. First thing on the list, cancel the family photo shoot scheduled for next weekend. Second thing, update the will. See, most guys in my situation go straight to divorce lawyers. I wasn't there yet. Divorce was inevitable, sure, but I wasn't rushing it. I wanted Kayla to twist a little first, to realize that the ground under her feet wasn't solid anymore, that the walls she leaned on weren't load-bearing. So I started the slow dismantling. On Monday, I went to the bank. We'd had a joint account for years. Not anymore. I opened a separate one, moved my paycheck direct deposit, and left just enough in the joint to cover the utilities and groceries. Nothing more. No warning, no passive-aggressive post-it notes. Just action. Then I called my buddy Dave, he runs the print shop downtown, and had him help me whip up a flyer. Simple layout. Big title. Free Home Fitness Sessions, featuring certified trainer Brent Halvorsen. Underneath was a big glossy headshot of Brent smiling in front of Titan form, arms crossed like he'd just benched a suburban marriage. Then came the best part. Ask about our couples package. Discretion guaranteed. With a little star at the bottom. References available upon request. Just ask Kayla Foster. Oh, it was a thing of beauty. I printed 200 copies. Glossy stock. Color. Real professional. Tuesday morning, I hit every bulletin board in a 15-mile radius. Coffee shops. Laundromats. Break rooms. Even the damn post office. Anywhere real estate agents might linger, gossip, or pick up a muffin. I left stacks in real estate offices, wedged them in open house flyers, even dropped a few in Kayla's work cubby at the Keller Williams branch. I didn't sign my name. Didn't need to. Kayla figured it out fast enough. She came home Tuesday night around 7, slammed the front door, and stood in the kitchen holding one of the flyers like it was a murder weapon. What the hell is this? I looked up from the bills. Looks like Brent's expanding his business. You're insane, she snapped. I sipped my tea. No, I'm just organized. She marched across the room, waving the paper like a badge. Do you have any idea how this makes me look? Sure do, I said. Like someone who should have picked a smarter side gig. She went quiet then. That kind of quiet where you can tell they're searching their brain for something. Apology, threat, denial, anything, but coming up empty. I stood up. You lied. You humiliated me. You took my kindness, my trust, and turned it into a punchline. So now I'm giving you what you gave me. This isn't fair, she whispered. No, I said, stepping closer. What wasn't fair was me driving Ellie to piano lessons while you were getting personal trained in some dimly lit back room by a married man named Brent with a degree in bicep curls. Her face crumpled then, not quite tears, but that twitchy lip, red cheek kind of rage when someone realizes the fire they started just burned down their own house. She left again that night. Didn't say where. Didn't matter. Because by Wednesday, the town knew. Brent's gym pulled his profile off their website. Word got out that he was taking a break. His wife? Yeah. Turns out she saw one of the flyers stuck to a signpost near her daughter's school. Funny how fast word travels in a small town when it's wrapped in laminate and posted at the farmer's market. As for Kayla, well, her boss at the real estate office called me personally. Said he was deeply disappointed by the rumors and couldn't afford that kind of drama in the workplace. He said she'd be taking a leave of absence to focus on her family. Family? What a joke. She came back Friday afternoon, eyes swollen, shoulders hunched, looking like someone who just realized the cliff she'd jumped off was a lot higher than it looked. I lost my job, she said. Yeah, I said. That tends to happen when you treat your personal trainer like a company car. She sat at the table, across from me, quiet. You planned all this, she said finally. I nodded. Told you. I'm organized. You humiliated me. Just returning the favor. She didn't have anything else to say, and I didn't have anything left to give. But I wasn't done yet. Because revenge isn't just about exposure. It's about erasure. So the next morning, I went to work cleaning the garage. Not emotionally. Physically. Her boxes? Out. Her bike? Gone. Her Christmas decorations? Labeled "Do Not Open." I packed everything she owned into neatly labeled bins and stacked them by the door. Then I changed the locks. I didn't kick her out. I just made it clear that she didn't live here anymore. She could take her time, figure out where she was going. But this house, our house, was no longer hers. Ellie stayed with me. That wasn't even a debate. I didn't badmouth her mom. Didn't explain the flyers or the gym or any of it. Just told her we were making changes and that I loved her more than anything. That part, that's the only thing I cared about preserving. By Sunday, Kayla came to pick up her things. No makeup, no earrings, no gold button blouses. She looked like someone who'd finally seen her reflection. I'll come back for the rest next week, she said softly. Don't wait too long, I said. Trash pickups Thursday. She didn't cry. She didn't argue. She just nodded and left. And that's when I knew I'd won. Not because she was hurt. Not because I humiliated her. But because I didn't need to yell to burn it all down. I just handed her the match and let her light it herself. By the time Kayla finally asked to talk, she looked more like someone asking for directions than a woman trying to win back her family. Hair tied back, hoodie too big for her frame. One of those half-hearted smiles people wear when they know they've run out of options. It was Wednesday afternoon, 3 weeks after the school recital, and I'd just finished putting up new shelves in the laundry room. Something I'd been meaning to do for months, but never found the energy for. Amazing what a little betrayal will do for your productivity. I told her to come by after Ellie went to bed. No drama. No yelling. Just talk. That's what she said in the text. Can we just talk? Like she was canceling a dentist appointment, not trying to stitch together a life she'd set fire to with a bottle of gym sweat and poor judgment. She showed up at 8:12 p.m. No bags. No makeup. Just Kayla. I opened the door, stepped aside, and let her walk in. Tea. I offered, already heading to the kitchen. She blinked. You're making tea? Why not? You said you wanted to talk, not throw plates. I thought you'd be mad, she said. I said. Then I got efficient. She followed me to the kitchen, sat in the same chair she used to fold laundry in, back when we were a team. Back when we didn't need to schedule talks. So, I said, pouring hot water over the bags. You've got 10 minutes. Make them count. She nodded slowly. I deserve that. No, Kayla, I said, sitting down across from her. You deserve a lot more than that. But 10 minutes is all I can give before I start feeling like a chump again. She exhaled. Not dramatic, just tired. I know I screwed everything up, she began. That's not a strong open. She flinched, but kept going. I didn't mean for it to happen. Brent was just there. He paid attention. He asked me about my day. He listened. I raised an eyebrow. You mean he let you talk about yourself without interrupting? She looked away. I'm not justifying it, she said quickly. I just need you to know, it wasn't planned. It wasn't like I set out to cheat. It just spiraled. I sipped my tea. Earl Grey. No sugar. Bitterness fit the mood. I used to be that guy, I said. The one who listened. The one who paid attention. But somewhere along the way, you stopped telling me anything worth listening to. She looked up at that. That's not fair. No. I leaned forward. You started pulling away long before Brent ever showed up with his discount cologne and protein bars. You stopped laughing. Stopped asking about my day. Stopped looking at me like I mattered. Her voice was small. You think I did that on purpose? I think you got bored, I said. And instead of saying, hey, Bobby, we've got a problem, you went and played house in someone else's locker room. The silence that followed wasn't angry. It was worse. It was honest. I didn't know how to fix it, she said eventually. You were always so steady. Like nothing ever rattled you. I felt like I was disappearing. I shook my head. You didn't disappear, Kayla. You just got lazy. Love's not a reward. It's a job. And you stopped clocking in. She nodded, chewing her lip. I used to find that habit endearing. Now it just looked like avoidance. I'm sorry, she said. I believe you, I said. Doesn't mean it changes anything. That caught her. So that's it. You won't even consider working through this. I did, I said. When I didn't know what was happening. When I thought you were just stressed or distant. I stayed up nights wondering what I'd done wrong. Tried harder. Talked softer. Bent over backward. And all the while, you were out there pretending our life was something you'd already buried. She folded her arms. Defensive now. I made a mistake, Bobby. A terrible one. But people work through worse. Sure they do, I said. But I'm not one of them. So you're just giving up? No, I said. I'm accepting the truth. And here's the truth, plain and unvarnished. I could have tried to salvage the marriage. Could have gone to therapy, cried into couch cushions, let her spin stories about miscommunication and emotional gaps. But deep down, I knew what I really wanted, not forgiveness. Closure. Clean, definitive, no blurred edges. I'm not angry anymore, I said. I'm just done. You were part of my life. A big one. But this chapter is over. She nodded again. Slowly, like she was trying to match the rhythm of a beat she hadn't heard before. What about Ellie? She asked, voice trembling. She stays here, I said. We'll figure out a schedule, get something formal down. But her home is here. Stability matters. And frankly, I'm not the one who turned our lives into a circus. I don't want her to hate me, Kayla whispered. She won't, I said, because I won't let her. But she'll know. Maybe not now, maybe not next year. But someday, she'll figure out what happened. And all I can do is make sure she sees that I didn't fall apart when it did. That's when the tears came. Real ones this time. Not crocodile. Not manipulative. Just raw grief. I never wanted to hurt you, she said. But you did. I was stupid. Yeah. I still love you. I looked at her for a long second. No, you don't, I said. You love what we had. You miss the version of me that didn't know any better. She covered her face with her hands. Is there anything I can say to make this easier? She asked. I stood up, took my mug to the sink. Nope, I said. But you can take the kettle with you on the way out. It was a wedding gift. And I'm pretty sure it whines less than you. That got a tiny, strangled laugh. One of those bitter chuckles people make when they've been thoroughly outplayed. She stood, wiped her face, looked around the kitchen like it might speak up for her. I'll get my stuff this weekend, she said. Take your time, I said. Just don't forget anything. Especially the guilt. She walked to the door, paused. I hope you find someone who appreciates you, she said. I already did, I said. She just stopped appreciating herself. The door closed behind her with a quiet finality. No slamming, no lingering, just done. And in that stillness, I felt it for the first time in months. Peace. Not because she was gone, but because I was finally free to be something other than the guy holding the broken pieces. I was ready to build something new. The first morning after Kayla left for good, I woke up at 6:15 a.m. on the dot, not because of an alarm, but out of habit. I sat up, stared at the ceiling, and realized something strange. I didn't feel like I was waiting on anything. Not waiting on an apology. Not waiting for someone to walk back into the room with tears and excuses. Not waiting for the air to clear. I was just awake. Alive. Whole. And that was enough. I made coffee, poured a bowl of cereal, packed Ellie's lunch. She came into the kitchen in her mismatched socks and her tangled ponytail and plopped down at the table like any other Wednesday morning. "You remembered the applesauce this time," she said, peeking in her lunchbox. "Dad of the year," I said, grabbing my thermos. She didn't ask about her mom. She hadn't, really, since that night at the recital. Kids are smart. Smarter than we give them credit for. They don't need every detail spelled out. They feel the shift. They sense the air's different. I told her the basics. That her mom and I had decided to live separately. That none of it was her fault. That she was the most important person in both our lives, and always would be. And that was enough for now. After drop-off, I drove to work like usual. B&D Auto hadn't skipped a beat through all of this. If anything, I was running smoother than ever. Funny how grief makes some people crumble, but it turned me into the most punctual damn mechanic in the county. Riley, my barely functioning assistant, was already there, trying to act like he knew what a torque wrench was used for. "You look like you got sleep," he said. "I did," I replied. "You should try it sometime." The days that followed were quiet, productive, grounded. I got things done. Painted the hallway, fixed the leaky spigot, rewired the garage lights. Not because I was distracting myself, but because I wanted to. Because this was my life now, and it deserved care, attention, control. Then came the message. 1 week to the day after Kayla moved out, I got a text. "Hey, can I stop by and drop off a few things I forgot? I won't stay. I promise." I thought about ignoring it. But then I remembered something I read once in a waiting room magazine while getting new tires. Closure isn't something someone gives you. It's something you give yourself. So I replied, "Sure. 6 p.m. I'll be here." When she showed up, she looked different. Not worse. Just different. Like someone who'd been living under a spotlight for too long and had finally stepped into the shade. She had a box in her hands and a paper bag under her arm. "I brought some of your hoodies," she said. "And your high school yearbook." "Didn't even know that was missing," I said, taking the box. She smiled. "It was under my nightstand." I didn't want to throw it out. We stood there for a moment in the entryway. Neither of us really knew what to say. She handed me the paper bag. "I baked banana bread," she said. "Is that an apology or a bribe?" She laughed, just a little. "Both." I took it, set it on the counter. Didn't touch it. She shifted her weight from foot to foot, eyes scanning the living room like she was looking for ghosts. "I keep thinking about everything," she said. "About what I did. How I justified it. How small my reasons sound now." I nodded. "They always do in the rear view." "I miss it," she said. "The life. The routine. You miss the comfort," I corrected. "Not the consequences." She didn't argue, which told me she finally understood the difference. "I keep wondering when it all started to break," she said. "Was it a moment? A decision? A slow drift?" I shrugged. "Probably all of it. Or none of it. Sometimes things break because we stop taking care of them. And then we pretend we're surprised when they fall apart." She looked down. "You were a good husband." "I was a decent one," I said. "But you needed something else. And instead of saying that, you went looking for it in a way that burned the whole place down." Silence again. "I'm not asking for another chance," she said after a long pause. "I'm not that delusional." I nodded. "Good. Because there isn't one. I just wanted you to know. I regret it." I believed her. And for the first time, that didn't feel like a weapon or a wound. It just was. "I know," I said. "But regret's like rust. You can wipe it away, but it still leaves a stain." She smiled weakly. "You always were good with words." "No, I'm just finally using them." She stepped toward the door, paused with her hand on the knob. "Ellie's piano teacher called," she said. "Asked if she's still doing lessons." "She is," I said. "Tuesday nights. I'll keep paying for them. I'd like to come to her next recital. If that's okay." I looked her in the eyes. "Steady. That's up to Ellie," I said. She nodded. Didn't try to push it. "Goodbye, Bobby. Take care of yourself, Kayla." And then she was gone. No dramatic hugs. No long speeches. Just a door opening. Then closing. Final. The house felt different after that. Not emptier. Just aired out. That night, I sat on the porch with a beer and watched the sun drop below the soybean fields. The breeze was soft. The sky a little too pink. And I felt it. Peace. Real and unvarnished. The kind that doesn't demand a speech or a scene. Just a chair, a beer, and the absence of weight. Ellie came out after brushing her teeth, blanket wrapped around her shoulders. "Is Mom gone?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "She okay?" "She will be," I said. So will we. She nodded and sat beside me. Can we get pancakes in the morning? Only if you let me burn the first batch, I said. She grinned. Deal. We sat there for a while. No phones. No noise. Just stars and silence. That's when I realized something important. The worst thing she did wasn't cheat. It was making me forget who I was. But I remembered now. I was Bobby Foster. Father. Mechanic. Builder of shelves. Burner of pancakes. And survivor of a slow-motion disaster disguised as marriage. Kayla taught me a lot, even in the mess. She taught me how people unravel, how lies snowball, how silence can be louder than a shout. But mostly, she taught me how to walk away without looking back. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let go and start over on your own damn terms. The end. Subscribe to the channel